what we're going to do is we're going to work on your stuff.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to
appreciate
cancel
it.
again. I just did
Oh,
not want
I appreciate you.
to.
Thank you.
So we're going to work on your stuff, and then the next time we'll touch base and see where you are, and then
Okay.
we'll work on my stuff.
Okay.
That
All
work?
right.
So
That sounds good.
we're gonna do a good solid 45 minutes, 50
Okay.
minutes for you.
Okay. I appreciate you. I sent an email to your Brilliant Star with the assignment that
Mm-hmm.
um, we had talked about, the My Party stories. So it's like a
When did you
Google.
send it?
I just sent it like maybe 10 minutes ago.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's pretty recent.
Hasn't come through yet.
Or it may be in your Gmail.
Oh,
Because
you
I gave your Gmail permission.
okay, it may be.
I can send it to your Hotmail
No,
instead.
no. Hey, let me see if it's there first, because
Okay.
it's easy for me to go. It
Okay.
says you have joined me, but it doesn't say we've gotten there yet. Oh my goodness.
It will give you access. It will just say this person has shared a document with you, and that's what it would say. It's not the actual document, it's just like a share.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So go ahead and send it to my
Hotmail.
brilliant. Yeah,
Okay.
just in case, so we don't have.
And do you want to be an editor or a commenter?
Commenter's fine.
Okay. Yeah, because either way is fine with me. I just
Okay, so how many stories did you come up with?
10.
Ah, very good, very good.
I did the assignment. I was like as I was getting going, it was a little bit tough, as you saw. Like I was saying, I need help. Because I was like, my brain was just going, I don't have any party stories. I don't know any stories. And I was like, wait, this has to be easier than this. Like maybe it's not so specific. Um, to, like it's just at a party. So your explanation was really helpful.
I like that too because it got me to write down some of the specifics of what I want to put in notes that I want to keep for when I do this.
Oh, good,
I
good,
tell you
good.
what, let's do because it hasn't come through yet.
Oh,
Let me give you capability of screen share.
okay.
And then
Then we can just look at it together.
yeah. Whoops.
Sounds good.
Okay, you should be able to share.
Yes. So let me see. I think if I go to this, control to select multiple windows. I think if I switch over to my party, can you see the my party stories doc
Yep.
now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So
Exactly.
this is it. So these were what my brain came up with.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if
Okay.
I need to like make this a little bit bigger. Let me do
Actually,
that.
that's even better.
Okay.
Cinco de Mayo Leprechaun. I love that. The police chase, the hidden porn star. Oh, these are great titles. Um, uh, Borrowed Vacation, X Games, Jellyfish, Paris, The Night Runner, the AD, and the Breaks. Okay.
I just kind of hurriedly came up with the titles. So should we start
Yeah,
from the
no.
top?
I love the titles. Let's go ahead and start at the top.
Okay.
So instead of me reading it, you tell me, you can read it if you want, but just tell me what happened as you in the reading of it. Just be telling me what happened.
Okay. And we got a recording of this too, so it'll help. I can see this afterwards, right? Okay.
I'm going to send it to you.
Yay, awesome. Thank you. So okay. This was around, it was actually on Cinco de Mayo, which is the 5th of May. It's supposed to be a celebration for other reasons that I can't think of right now, because the only thing we were celebrating was the fact that we could party really hard and we were in college. And I ended up at this it was like, a campus Mexican restaurant that was like, it was okay. It wasn't like great, but it was totally packed with people. And my friend is like talking with this really great looking guy. And I end up sitting next to this other guy who resembled a leprechaun in my estimation. And so I told my friend, hey, this guy looks like a leprechaun. And I'm like, I wasn't really into him. And then next thing, like my friend turns around and she sees us totally making out. And I'm just like getting down with the leprechaun. And she's like, wait a minute, what's going on? So she wrestles me away from him. And we find out he had roofied my drink. He had put something in there. So that could have gone really badly, but it didn't, because my friend was there.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So in your, we're not going to go through each one of the stories. We're going to go through about 3, and then we're going to talk about them. Okay, so in the C column, right next on that same level, on that same story, put down, what is it you think that the story is about? What do you say the story is about?
The story is about like, first is coming to mind is the power of good friend, the value of good friends. And never trust a leprechaun on Cinco de Mayo. He's on the wrong holiday. He should have been back in March, right? Never trust a leprechaun. Outside of March.
Well, you technically you're not supposed to trust a leprechaun, because they think you want their gold, so they're always going to try and trick you to keep you from getting it.
Or roofie your drink.
Yeah.
To keep you from getting it.
What else? There's something else.
Let's see. What's the story about? The story is about look at your drink. Look at your drink before you drink it. I don't know.
Pay attention.
Pay attention to your surroundings at all times.
As well as, like you said, it's about the value of good friends, but it's also about the support of keeping them. It was a girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. Guys are always, in the movies, they always talk about how girls travel in packs.
Okay.
And how important it is to travel in packs. If you go to a party, you don't know what's going on, to know your friend and don't just leave them. There are a lot of girls that I have heard have been in situations where they just kind of left them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, she's into him, so let me leave her alone. No, your friend knew you.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So, okay. So, and there may be more, but that's what it is. Okay.
Yes.
Now, so tell me about the police chase.
Or do you want to go further down? Do you want to do, because there's only 3, we're only doing 3, so I don't know if there's maybe
put the 3. What 3 are at the top of your list?
The top of my list.
Well, let's see. What 3 do you think of? Okay, let's stop for a second.
Okay.
If you're creating a show for yourself, or even if you're just creating an article, or if you're creating something you want to tell, maybe you're talking to the people that you want to mentor. Maybe they're teenagers, maybe they're little children, maybe they're adults, maybe you're, what is it? Who are you talking to? Who's the group of people that you want to tell your stories to? Or who do you have something to say to? My category is generally 35 to 65.
Okay.
Women, professional, entrepreneurial, that kind of thing. Do you have an idea of what you want to tell people? If you do, that's, and if you don't right now, that's okay. So we'll work on another story.
Yeah, I don't. And the reason I'm writing these stories is not to encourage or motivate anyone. This is just me doing this exercise to get like some flow of creativity. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I want to write a play or, um, do a one person show. And I'm just at the beginning. I feel like I'm just kind of getting out of being in a very stuck mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have an audience in mind.
Okay. So, but what would you, what is it about your life that you want to say to people? If you're doing a one person show, there's a lot of different ways people do one person show. The solo show that I'm doing is not, there are stories in it that are my life, but
Mhm.
it's not about my life. It's about what I want to say to women, about who I know them to be and who I want women to remember who they are. In my other show, I talk about what I want women to, I'm talk about mamas and children. I don't have any kids, but I talk about what my mama taught me, what I would like to, because I'm a children's advocate because I watch kids all the time. I see them and what I know about parenting, I'm not saying I know more than what parents know, but
Right.
there's something I want to say about parenting, and I can say it this way without going, people aren't going, you don't have any kids, and I can do that. So, what would you, or it may just be you're creating a vehicle that you want to speak, like you were saying, you would like to do something creative.
Hmm.
What's a story that you find fun that you just want to tell about?
Right.
Which one of these? No,
Well,
just go back down. Which one on this? Which one is your next story that you want to tell me about?
um, yeah, I mean, I'll just go with like what I feel like talking about today. Like
Okay,
I don't have I don't have a vision yet. Like I'm just
that's
really
okay.
I'm at an open space because I just want to kind of start from scratch and not
And
have
that
any
and that's
preconceived
okay because you
notions.
don't need to have a particular when I started writing my second show, I didn't have just a story, a
Mm,
theme I wanted to tell. I just practiced with stories I had, and I came up with other stories in my mind, or I told stories that I had in my life or that I've seen. So it doesn't have there doesn't have to be anything. So which is the next story you want to tell me about?
I will tell you about the hidden porn star.
That sounds like a great story.
So this is actually with the same friend. Like we were hanging out one night in college, and again, back to college, very interesting time discovering things. And we were hanging out with two of our male friends, and we, they were just like we were just bored and hanging out, and the guys came up with this brilliant idea to rent a porn. And we were like, I don't know. We went back and forth, and finally we're like, okay, off we go. We're going to go to the video rental shop together and we're going to rent this porn. All right, great. So we're down there. I'd never rented porn before. This is like totally new ground for me. This was just nuts, you know. And we're in there, and then all of a sudden, our guy friends are like, "Oh my god, you have to come over here! Look at this!" and we're in there and we look at the shelf and they're like pointing and they're like their mouths are dropped to the floor and we're like, what's going on? And they go, look, it's Jane. And we're like, what? And we look at this cover of this porn and we're like, oh my gosh, that's one of the girls that we are in a marching band with. Like we know her. She plays the saxophone. And she's on Asian Newcomers 4. Like that's the actual title or something. I was like, what? Like our minds are going like what the hell? So we rented it, of course, and we're like watching it the whole time. I'm under covers, like barely peeking out, going, oh my God, that's Jane. Like it was so traumatizing. So yeah, that was interesting.
Okay. And what did that tell you?
It told me you can't trust a book by its cover because you would have never guessed that Jane would, of all people, would end up doing porn.
Okay, so what did you think of Jane first?
That she was a sweet,
Put
shy
it down.
girl.
Put it down.
Um, Jane was a sweet, shy girl. Yeah.
And then put down, the book by its cover. You can't judge a book by its cover.
But you can't judge a book by its cover.
Or a video. You can't judge the gist by the video cover.
Or who will be on the disc.
Okay. So, and that's funny because when I was in college, what was the movie? Oh, I don't know if you heard of it or if you're old enough, but do you remember the movie Deep Throat?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
It was a porn movie,
It's
and
like the porn movie. It's
it
like
was
the most famous one.
It was this famous one that even people who didn't, well, I didn't do porn. Everybody had heard about Deep Throat, and I can't even remember now why, but it was like Deep Throat's out, and I went to college in Orange County, and one night we just all packed up and went to see the movie.
Okay.
In that night, and then we drove to Hollywood and we drove home, and I even remember which theater it was in. Still a porn movie, just still in porn theater. And the next day we were sitting in the student union, and I wasn't saying much. We're sitting by the table, and I was quiet, and somebody said, and they were talking about having gone to the movie because I had gone with them, and I think I may have been the only girl. And I was kind of like, wow, this is really, wow, they do, And so somebody said, what are you being so quiet for? And I said, my throat hurts. I didn't evidently have enough clothes on, and I had gotten a bit of a scratchy throat, so I had a sore throat. And who knows, maybe it was, metaphysically, I was just taken on. So it was, so college is a place where we learn things. Okay, so I'm not going to have you do another one right now because I
really wanted to tell you the third one. I lined it all up.
Go ahead then.
All right. So this one's really quick. It's the AD. So we were doing a short film in a park. We'd gotten the whole crew there. It took a lot to get everybody there. And it was like the hours were winding down. The daylight was fleeting. And then 2 British policemen patrolling the park turned up and asked us, do you have a permit to be filming today? Who's in charge here? And I pushed my way to the front and said, I'm in charge. I wasn't in charge. I was the second AD, but I was like, I'm in charge. Who wants to know? And they said, well, what's going on? And I just took full charge and I bulldozed over these 2 sleepy British police. I mean, they didn't really want to do anything. It was a Sunday afternoon. They were just kind of strolling up and down, pretending to patrol. So when I hit them with my full American, I'm in charge, and they just were like, okay, all right, we'll leave it up to you, and just don't hurt yourselves, because we were jumping off of a roof onto a mattress. We were doing really dangerous stunts. They just left. So I got him to leave. Yeah. So that's the AD. I should say the second AD. Maybe it was first. No, I was first AD. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
first AD.
and that's not the title. The title is something about the power of the American push, or something like that. And you can leave the AD there because could be. So this is what I want you to notice.
Mm.
I want you to listen to how you told the story.
Mm.
Okay, yes, no, put the same thing in there. Go ahead and answer the
Oh,
questions.
this? Oh, what is this about?
Yeah, what is it about? Or what might be a lesson learned, or
Power of pushiness. Um, how loud Americans can be.
that everyone needs to be an actor.
That everyone needs to be an actor.
Yeah, you're an actor. The
Yeah, I
ADs
am.
aren't always an actor. Your actress. You came out as the AD became the producer because of the actor's power in you.
The AD became the producer because the actor's power in me. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. All right.
Yeah.
Now, so I want you to, when you get the tape, what you're going to do is you're going to write the story as you told it.
Okay.
I want you to write the story as you told it. If you may just want to pick one in the
Okay.
moment, but so write the story as you told it. And then what I want, and so you can actually do that before you listen. You can do it before you listen. And then when you can listen to it, you can hear if there's more information that you said the first time that you didn't say the second time. But when you listen to it, after you've done those things, then I want you to listen for the information that you didn't tell me. What I'm going to have you do is totally unpack the story. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. People always are talking about unpack the story, tell us more.
Yeah.
So you're going, because there's stuff that you didn't tell us in there.
Yeah.
So what has to happen, and I didn't ask you any questions because I wanted to see how you were going to tell the story. Hence my directions. You can either read it or you can tell me the story from what you know, how you would tell the story. So the story is, and I know this because you say two British policemen, because there would be no British policemen generally in patrolling the LA park. So, so when you're telling a story, you have to set the stage. Like at the beginning of a movie, they say somewhere in Yugoslavia, or
Right.
or you see them, they pan across the city because it's all you need to know is that it's an urban city, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Or you wake up and you see you're in the bedroom of a child, and because you see all the little pictures, so they set the stage. So
Right.
the stage is what you want to set, and it can start from, oh, I was shooting this movie in London, or in a park in London, or a blah, blah, blah. And then you have two British policemen. They're not British policemen. For them, they're bobbies, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So, Bobby, we hear policemen all the time. Two British bobbies patrolling the park turned up at a crucial point in the day. So, what is it? So, because you told about the crucial point in the day, we were losing the light. we were doing this. This was that. We were set. We were in the middle of getting ready for our next stunt, and don't tell them yet that you were jumping off a roof onto the mattress, but you were getting ready for your next stunt. Let them think that it's a big production. And then the fact that it was only, we were almost at the end of the movie, page 13, we were in the final scene of the movie on page 13, or page 3.
Probably was closer to page 3. It wasn't very, it wasn't verbose. It was just like directions, and people would improvise.
Yeah. So let them think when you're telling them the story. Paint the picture for them, and then drop little seedlets along the way that say, when they get to the end, they're going, what? You were doing what? So when they asked who was in charge, and maybe, so you have to give us even more. So what did they look like? These cops. How tall are you?
5'4".
Ish. They were 6 feet.
I don't know. They weren't that tall. I mean, they weren't that. Maybe they were tall. You know,
make them tall. Doesn't matter. Make them tall.
I'll make them tall.
The audience doesn't know, and and how you make them tall is, and there's going to be certain points where you don't tell me about the story. You got to show me the story. I'm more interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me, and what's going to make it more that heightens that is you're going to go, yeah, I'm in charge. You're going to look up at him. You don't have to tell me he was 6'4" and I'm only 5'4". You go, yeah, I'm in charge. What about it? Who's asking? So people know right off the bat what's going on.
Yes.
And so and then whatever additional information that you haven't unpacked, I convinced them and that everything was clear throughout the city. And then you can even add to it. At that point in time, we could have shot in London Tower with the Queen's jewels. They would not have given it second thought because I was in charge.
We would have been locked up.
Yeah. And that is your final line. It's like, I'm just glad we didn't get locked up.
I'm going to put that right here. I'm just glad we didn't get locked up. Yeah, no, this sounds great. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's, I was going to say. So you have, that's the story that you had. And what you're going to do is you're going to write all of it. You then go back through it, and then you say, okay, I don't need to say this part, but this part sounds good. And you like this part. We don't need to add that part. So, it must have been the end of their shift, or it was blah, 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 whatever it is that you're going to talk about. So that's the unpacking of the story. And there's going to be more that you have forgotten.
Yeah.
So there's going to be additional. So let's scroll up to the story above.
So we got Cinco de Mayo, Leprechaun, and the hidden porn star.
So here we go with Cinco de Mayo. At a raging Cinco de Mayo party in college, I ended up sitting next to a guy. So same thing. You want to unpack the story. So you can actually just copy what you have there and paste it into an empty document and call it like a little story, that you're going to write out. with the Cinco de Mayo Leprechaun, and you're going to tell us where were you a junior in college? Were you a senior in college? There's a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference.
So was it a frat party?
It wasn't a frat party. It was just a general party. And I think I was either sophomore. Yeah, I think I was a sophomore.
And maybe he was a
The same.
senior.
I think he was the same age as
Okay.
us. Mm-hmm.
Now the other thing
But
about
he was my height, and that's why I called him a leprechaun, because I'm
okay,
short and he's
so
short.
yeah, so we need to know why. I don't particularly, I don't, I don't suggest that you say he looked like a leprechaun. Tell us why he looked like a leprechaun.
Right. No, he had red hair as
He
well, and that
had,
was
and I ended, I was sitting, I turned to the left, I turned to the right, and there he was. Red hair, a wisp of a guy, and don't even, you know, I I'm only 5'4". I'm not sure if he came up to here, And so again, show me. What can you show me?
right.
And so then it's like, so whatever else made him look like a leprechaun, regardless of whether or not it was. Because if you're turning the story into a piece that you're presenting, you can um, embellish it.
Mm,
You take poetic license to it,
yeah.
and so you can. He may not have been wearing green, but you can put him in green.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's just that maybe you looked at him, you looked away, and you thought, this guy probably has a pot of gold because he looks like a leprechaun. You don't have to tell, you actually don't have to tell us he looked like a leprechaun. Show us how he looked like a leprechaun, or tell
Right.
us, describe him in this is why he was a leprechaun. In fact,
Right.
after I looked, I think probably even with the roofie, I only kissed him because I thought there was a pot of gold. You know, so unpack the story. You ended up, so first unpack the whole story that you do know and that you have there, a raging Cinco de Mayo party in college. So tell me why it was raging. Oh my gosh, there were people everywhere.
The
They
room
were
was packed. I mean, the
The
room was
room
totally
was
packed. It was difficult to find a seat. And he was only one of the only people who had a seat. And he invited us, I think, to sit with him. And that's how we got to sit down.
okay. So that's, I got to sit down, and then I looked, and it was a leprechaun. You can tell us if you're doing it in a way that it gives us some, like, give yourself some fun with it. Okay. So why was it raging? How old were you? Um, and he may have been your age, but he had he had moves you didn't know about.
He had moves I didn't know about.
And then you were making out.
And I'm
Like,
talking make like tongue down, like I've been like knowing him for my whole life.
yeah, I had
Stuffy
a my
public.
my brother and my cousin was explaining to my brother. My brother was 6 years older than me, and I was probably like 7 or 8 or something like that. And my cousin was there, and my cousin, he was my brother's age, and he asked my brother, "Man, have you ever been kissed? Have you ever been French kissed?" And my brother shook his head. And he said, I went to this party and this girl stuck her tongue down my throat. And I went, you could have gagged me with a spoon. So for years, and I do mean years, I did not French. Nope. They've tried. I had to get somebody to teach me.
Oh.
Yeah. So
kids are so literal, aren't they?
yeah. So wrestle. How did she wrestle you away from him?
Oh, because he didn't want me to go. Yeah, he was like, oh, she likes me. She doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
He was clinging. He was hanging on.
She had to put her foot on the couch and grab my neck and wrap her arm and pull me away.
Mm.
So how did she wrestle you? So, and maybe it's like, he's pulling and it's oh no.
Yep. All the way out into the street. He followed us all the way out into the street. He did not want me to go. He had invested too much in me. He had put a lot of investment.
How did you figure out he had roofied your drink?
Oh, my friend, I mean, the fact that I was normal 1 second and the next I didn't know what was going on. And I ended up falling flat on my face in the gutter out in the street because they like let go of me and I lost my balance and like fell over. I mean, I didn't drink like that. I only had a beer. It was a beer. Like I shouldn't have been behaving like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now with the hidden porn, that could have gone really different. I mean,
it could have.
You're 2 guys, 2 girls. Let's go get some porn. I mean,
but we were friends.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that they brought it up means that they probably didn't think of us as friends.
They had. I'm pretty sure there was something else in mind.
Maybe on their part, but not on ours.
We'll just and then you can tell the whole story, and then you could at the very end go, oh, I wonder if they had an ulterior motive. You can just realize it then.
Yeah, because I really didn't see it then. I'm going to actually add this right here so I don't forget. Go ahead.
So who the 2 guys were, and you were friends. Maybe they wanted to be friends with Benny's, and why you decided to go along with the program. Maybe you excuse me.
Are you okay? Do you need some water?
Maybe you too were sweet and innocent.
Yeah, we were.
So I was that way. I got called promiscuous in college because I was just really friendly. And I was in this guy's room and he was talking, he was really talking trash to me and talking down to me. And I was like, what are you talking? And he said, I know you're promiscuous. And I went, what? What's that? So you've been with a lot of guys. I went, in what way? I challenged him. He goes, and he was saying, well, the guys are talking. You're with you've been in a lot of guys' room and they said they got you. And I'm going, me? I'm a virgin. I said, I haven't even kissed anybody here. So I didn't even know what the word promiscuous was. So, but they were because I was friendly and I was meeting a lot of people. I met girls and guys. I went to new girls' rooms too. It didn't matter to me because I was like, oh wow, a new person. Look at all these people I meet.
You're just friendly, outgoing.
So what was it about you? And and how did you start hanging out with them, and where did they come from, and do you want to give them names? John, I was hanging out with John, my best friend Jean, and Bob and Charlie. Now, Bob and Charlie lived over there, and they were like this, but we didn't really care. Blah, 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 da, da, da. And then, so we were sitting around having some popcorn, watching movies, and they decided, let's go rent a porn movie. And so, how did this unfold? How did
Yes,
it unfold in terms of how do you want to, and it's all in how you want to remember it or how you want to tell it to them.
right.
And
Yeah,
and who
yeah.
and maybe was Jane your friend? And what happened after that? Did you meet Jane? Did you tell her that you saw her movie? Did what happened? We want to know what happened.
Oh, we do, huh? Mm,
You don't
I
have to tell
don't
us. You may
I
not
don't
want to.
know. Like I don't have a very good memory. I just remember the shock that we all had finding out.
And it
Um,
could be maybe you didn't tell her. You just what you did was you looked at her differently from then on.
we looked at her differently from then on, I think. I think other people found out about it and they started talking about it, but I don't think anybody confronted her about it. Yeah. It's a bit
She probably had
uncomfortable.
more money than you all.
I think she might have had a good deal, a lot more of money than we
That's
had.
that's how she bought her band uniform with cash. The rest of us were selling cookies.
Now that's funny.
You know. So make it up.
Right, right, right. Yes.
I don't know. It's probably how she got her band uniform. She paid cash. Do you know how much a saxophone costs?
They're expensive, though. They are expensive, so that's a good theory.
Mm-hmm.
I like that statement, though. Even how much a saxophone costs.
Mm. And you can and
I might have to change the names and the instruments just to make sure I'm not like,
oh
because these are
sure.
this is a real person, and that really is her name. That really was the name of the film. I think.
So, give her another. I was gonna when you said Jane, I thought, oh, fun with Dick and Jane. Though that's her plain Jane, sweet little Mary. So, give her it was sweet little Mary. Mary played the piccolo. That's a funny little instrument.
It is a funny little instrument. It's actually even funnier than the sax.
In the marching band. So think about what a marching band does and how can you could see some of the moves that she made on the with the marching band on the screen.
Oh my gosh.
How can you tie stuff together?
Right, right, right.
Because if let's just say at the moment what you're doing is you're trying to come up with ways, you're looking to come up with a you're looking to come up with a vehicle to showcase your talent.
Yes.
So we want to have as much varied talent on stage in your stories as possible. It could be that we place all your stories all get placed in college. The 10 things I learned in college that helped me through life.
Right.
So this is never judge a book by its cover. Somewhere in life you've had that situation. The other one, the story about the AD is, stand in your own power or take charge.
Yes.
Okay. The same with the other, with the the other story, the Leprechaun.
The Leprechaun. We said it was pay attention to your own needs, the value of good friends and keeping them. I think that's the main one, because that you really do hear these stories about girls that literally don't leave the party alive. You know, they're never seen again. They're never seen again.
Exactly. So yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
you have a
this was
good
a lot.
beginning,
This is an amazing beginning. So
and you
these are
have a
like
through
three
line that you thought you didn't have.
I do. And I'm glad that I'm just staying open to like what's coming out as opposed to trying, because I've been on this journey for a minute, and we spoke last year about this as well. Like I just found my notes. I haven't looked through them yet, but I just realized when I started first, I had this idea, oh, I want to talk about my life and this, experience or these experiences or whatever. And it was just holding me back. And I couldn't seem to break my way free of that. And so that's why I'm just like, I'm leaving all the writing I did behind. I'm not looking at it like right now. I'm starting from scratch with these stories and just exploring.
And this is a great start.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you have the first three lessons I learned in college that helped me in my life. You can do that. And you have this can be a good 15 minutes.
Peace.
You can tighten it up more or less or whatever.
And I could use a different one. I mean, I could use a different one of these stories, because like that the AD story actually did not happen when I was in college. I was already an adult.
It doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. Okay.
The people, you can take poetic license with
my life.
Yeah, you're changing the names of the people, so you can do anything.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. So next time, I'd love to get I know you have to run to your next meeting, right? Yeah. So if you have any questions, let me know. Maybe let me know like what you're thinking about, like in particular that you need help with, so I can kind of like prepare, think about things, or even maybe make some suggestions before we.
Yeah. Well, partly, I need. Actually, I'd rather just because I can't stop right now.
Yeah.
I'd
No.
rather
compartmentalize. Yeah. Let's do that. But do you want to maybe email me after, or maybe do that before because I think we're scheduled for next Thursday again at the same time, potentially. And we can stop the recording if you'd like, and then we can just kind of like wrap up really quick.